I said, can I apply to the program? They said, no, I'm sorry, we're all filled. So 2 weeks later, I'm doing my alcoholism rotation. And my friend Jack Ann Standick, who was the intern, comes to me and said, there's an opening in neurology. If you apply now, maybe you can get in. So I applied, and within 2 weeks, I was accepted.
Wow.
So I got accepted in probably, if not the best, one of the best
Cleveland Clinic
neurology program.
Wow.
So I always say about that, better to be lucky than good. You know? To me, neurology is the study and care of diseases of the nervous system. And the nervous system is primarily two components. There's the central nervous system, which is the brain and the spinal cord. And then there's the peripheral nervous system, which are the nerves outside of the central nervous system, within the chest and the abdomen and the limbs.
Awesome. So how did you get into this field in the first place? Like, how did that all start?
I became a doctor because my father was a doctor. There was no other reason than that. When I was in college, I was a pre-med major. Mm-hmm. One day I went to see my advisor. He said, I'm sorry, but your grades aren't good enough to get into medical school. I had like a 3.3 average. And back then, you needed almost a 4.0 to get into medical school. So he said, you better figure out something else you might want to do. So I decided to become a minor in education and become a school teacher. And I taught 8th grade science. About halfway through that year, I realized I could not continue as an 8th grade science teacher. So I had some information that you use to study for the boards for medicine called the AMCAS. And I had saved it. I took a course the summer before. But instead of taking the course and going to it, I would go to the Red Brick School in Lewiston and play basketball. So I did not learn from that. But then I decided while I was teaching, I was going to use that information. I studied hard. I got a good score. I applied to medical school, and they accepted me. So it took me a couple of years after college to get into medical school.
Awesome.
And once I was in medical school, you rotate at different hospitals or different things, like you might do cardiology or gastroenterology. And my last two elective, I was a senior, I had 2 electives at the very end. And I called the Cleveland Clinic, that's where my father did his residency. And I said, what can I do? You know what? I'd like to do 2 rotations there. And they said, well, I said, can I do cardiology and GI? Because that's what I knew the most about, and I would look more intelligent. Yeah. They said, I'm sorry, all we have is neurology and alcoholism.
Alcoholism?
Yeah. So
that's something I'll definitely talk about.
Yeah. So I said, okay. And I did my neurology rotation, and I met a really smart intern in neurology, and the attending in neurology was really smart, really nice. And all of a sudden I decided I want to be a neurologist.
Wow. What was it about that so when you started doing it?
You know what I liked about it is the same thing I like about it now. I like the fact that your job is to figure things out more than any other profession in medicine.
Yeah.
So I like that task. It was very interesting to me. And so I said, can I apply to the program? They said, no, I'm sorry, we're all filled. So 2 weeks later, I'm doing my alcoholism rotation. And my friend Jack Ann Standick, who was the intern, comes to me and said, there's an opening in neurology. If you apply now, maybe you can get in. So I applied, and within 2 weeks, I was accepted.
Wow.
So I got accepted in probably, if not the best, one of the best
Cleveland Clinic
neurology program.
Wow.
So I always say about that, better to be lucky than good. I believe that's true.
Yeah, that's totally awesome. Okay, so like figuring out the problems, I could see that's what intrigues me a lot with like the work I do as well. All right, so
it's probably similar.
Yeah, in ways, because we gotta analyze things, kind of diagnose it, right, and then kind of prescribe something to fix it.
And you have to be, more than anything, a really good listener.
Correct.
Right?
Correct. Analyzer,
yes.
Right? A very good analyzer,
right.
Which is a ton of different components, really.
That's number one, I think. Even any doctor. They've done studies. On average, a doctor will listen to a patient for less than 5 seconds before they start talking. On average. And they just miss everything that's important.
Holy shit.
But it's true. It's true.
On average, how much do you think you would listen?
You know what? I say sometimes I'm having a bad day and I'm get close to the 5 seconds. But most of the time, I'll let them talk until they're done.
Yeah.
Yeah.